the news that the Fed was not going to raise rates in November, the stock market rebounded with glee and exultation, on top of the already gleeful idea that war is good for the market. And so with, defense contracts soaring, more weapons, more chemicals, more death creating machinery, the stock market is happy. So people will say, why are you so worried? It's going to be okay. The stock market's people that are very close to me. Didn't you hear? The stock market's doing great. Everything's coming back. Right. Friday, as in 2 days ago, approximately 1 million, it was like 990,000 transactions in 3 major banks, Bank of America, Chase, and Wells Fargo, didn't go through. They said it was a glitch in 3 bank systems on the same day. So people were frantic. They weren't getting their paychecks. They didn't know where the money was. The company said they transferred it, never got into their account. Mortgages not being paid. You know the drill. So if you're one of those people who thinks everything's okay and the stock market's great and rah, 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 and there's nothing to worry about, well, I'm happy for you. Keep drinking the Kool-Aid. But if you are minimally aware and concerned about the economic situation, I got news for you. No, it's not okay. And I'd also like to say that a lot of us don't have stocks. I'm one of them. I don't have any stocks. So people tend to have an attitude of, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I don't know from the stock market. I can't worry about it. But we do need to, I think, be looking at the global indicators of this depression that is encroaching fast and furious upon the global population. So I, for example, published a picture that I took in one of the 2 grocery stores here of basically a meat rack that was empty. There was some pork and nothing else. People said, well, we're perfectly fine here. Everything's stocked. And again, I'm happy for you. But if you don't think that food shortages are coming, they are already happening in a lot of places in the world, but they're coming to your very comfortable grocery store in the near future, because that is the plan. Make no mistake about it. The shipping companies are being sabotaged. They're striking. Everybody's striking. The railroads are being bombed and thrown off or just going off their tracks. Every time you open the news, there's another derailment. Stores are closing. Folks, give me a break here. And as far as, well, it could never happen here. Oh, yeah, it will happen there. And again, my question to you, at the risk of being annoying to the point of monotonous, and I'm sorry for that, but I care about you. I care about me too. What are you doing? What are you doing for this coming depression? It's going to make the last one look like a walk in the freaking park. Because the difference is, aside from the immense increase in population and crowding in the cities, etc., is the new mental illness in the human race, caused by several factors, which include drummed up racism deliberately, closing of the institutions for mental health, the hospitals and the halfway houses, amazing amount of drug abuse that is, in my opinion, encouraged, and a serious shift in human behavior. So in the Great Depression, people rallied to help each other. Families helped other families. Will that happen now? I can say this, on my little island, I think it will, because it's underpopulated, which is always a good thing. And people here, a lot of people here are related to each other. A lot of people have been here many generations, and there's a definite connection. I mean, when we had the hurricane, I was amazed at how the citizens or the locals joined together, banded together to help the people that were affected and to clean up the mess. But at the moment where there's no food in the stores, so you go from the ridiculous prices of food increasing, hopefully not to a runaway situation like Venezuela where it's $300 to buy, piece of bread. But I think we need to be concerned by the markers that we're seeing in the economy, the trends in the food supply shutdown. How many food silos burned or exploded? I think one of them had an airplane crash into it. I mean, can you make this stuff up? So even though I repeatedly talk about prepping and people repeatedly tell me stop worrying and stop being afraid, and I keep repeatedly saying I'm not afraid, I'm smart, I do want to ask you right now, what have you got in the way of commodities? By that I don't mean stock commodities. I mean, what have you got in the way of food, in water, in gold and silver? And guess what? I'm not going to give you a link to go buy it like everybody else is. But what have you got that is tangibly in your hands that you can use when there's no food at the grocery store? In my case, the ship doesn't come, there's no food coming in. I just think it's really important to think about that. And in the wake of the information that's coming out about the economy, it is ever more important. Every day, it seems it's more important. So I'd love you to get a checklist going. And this checklist is if 10 days, a month, 6 months, a year, how would I fare if the stores were closed or if food was being rationed, if the bank account can't be accessed? And here, my bank's ATM was out of business for 30 days. How is that possible? People go on their way blithely. Oh yeah, it's the ATM machine. How is an ATM machine down for 30 days right inside the bank? Is that happening where you are? Because I'm hearing so many stories. People going to the bank and the door's locked and the bank is closed and there's a sign that says, go to another branch. Excuse me, but I bank here. Without being an alarmist, which I'm not, I think it's a very good idea to take whatever you've got in a safety deposit box, if you still do, and get it out, get it somewhere else. It is not safe in a bank deposit box. People are also asking me about crypto. A couple of years ago, I was very excited about crypto, and I fortunately followed my hunch and did some investing with what I could, because I'm no great big investor, but I did manage to cash it in at the right time and make a nice little, let's say, nest egg that helped me at the time. That's how I got paid off my mortgage, which is my greatest achievement of late. It's very comforting knowing I own my home, if we ever do really own our homes. But that there's no mortgage, there's none of the concern about the rate increases. It was at the right time. I did it at the right time, and everything worked out for me. My answer to crypto now is I don't know what to say. Yes, there's probably going to be a birth of crypto or an exaltation of crypto. Everything's possible, but the doubt remains in my mind, and that is, do you really want money tied up in a digital system that only exists if the internet exists? Even if you've got for those of you who are savvy about crypto, even if you've got it on an outside wallet, if there's no internet, if there's a crash of the system, which is of course always being proposed, what are you going to do with this wallet? I'm glad I sold mine. Yeah, it might go back up. Yes, it might surge and be an amazing thing. I personally think that right now is a time for solid, tangible holdings, which of course, again, are metals, food, supplies, property, paying down your debt. It's not a tangible thing, but it is one of the most important things you can do for your economy right now. Pay it down, get rid of it. I mean, I can't even believe the last time I used a credit card, I think it was about 12% interest, and that was already ridiculous. And now everybody's telling me it's 22, 24% interest, which is absolute usury. 24% interest on a credit card? How possibly can you ever dig your way out if you use that? So you go out to dinner, you pay $100 for dinner. And if you don't pay that off, it just every month it's accruing interest. So by the end of the year, that dinner alone has cost you $125. Excuse me for being simplistic with the math. But people don't realize that. They just keep using it and keep spending it and then paying the minimum. And eventually the minimum is so high they can't pay that. And then lots of people talking about, well, I'm just going to forfeit when I've maxed out my credit cards. I'm just going to forfeit and let them come after me. They will come after you. You think your life is difficult now? You try to forfeit on your credit cards when there's a total meltdown economically, and you will be royally tattooed, because they're not going to let you rent a house. They're not going to let you get a mortgage. No credit in this world right now is, or bad credit, even worse. So think about these things. I know I talk about them all the time, but I'll continue to talk about them because I think there's so much we can do to get ourselves into the best possible position for what is coming. And again, it is coming. When the experts talk about we're moving into a recession, I'm like, yeah, sure. We have 2% inflation. We're moving possibly into a recession. War is good. There's no problem. Everything's just fine. Just keep eating your Nestle's Crunchies. Oops, forgot they have ground up insects in them. Anyway, guys, just some thoughts. I'm trying to people have asked me to be more visible, so I'm trying to come more frequently to you, bearing in mind that I have to be so very careful about what I say on this tube, but at least I wanted to bring you some food for thought. It's me, Patricia Cori. It's Sunday. I'm going to take the rest of the night off, so take it easy. I'll catch you next week.